Hi, this is St. Vincent, and you're watching Toasted.
Welcome to Amsterdam.
Thank you.
You've been here before, right?
Many times.
Because you played Paradiso and other great stuff.
Paradiso, Milkweg, and other places, I think.
Hey,
Lots in the memory bank.
the tour with David Byrne just ended, basically, right?
It ended in the middle of September.
So you must have been working on your new album while touring with him, right?
I was touring for my last St. Vincent record, Strange Mercy, and then I wrapped that tour up in Japan and then flew straight back to New York for rehearsals with David and then straight into touring. So um, that was all done in the fall of last year when we kind of had a little break in the Byrne touring, and I thought I was going to take about a month off and just like find a beach somewhere and relax, but I ended up starting to write this record about 36 hours after I got off the road with David, and then we picked up touring again in January. We did Australia and went around the States again and did Europe in the fall of 2013. So it was off and on, but it was a year of touring with David.
But I mean, when did you write and record this album then in a really short period?
I did it I started, I guess, in October, November of 2012, and was recording by May. So I wasn't really intending, there wasn't any pressure. I didn't put any pressure on myself to put anything out this quickly, but it just all came out. And I thought, well, if it's here, I might as well just keep keep this train going.
You definitely did. Your previous album, you said, was a good one, but you could do even better. Did you think you did even better on this one?
I do think that. I think that this is my version of a party record. Uh, Come on in. Um, but it's like a party record you could play at a funeral.
You could definitely say
Yeah.
that. Well, I've been listening to your music extensively now. One song that struck me is "I Prefer Your Love to Jesus."
That's a lovely song. Yeah.
It is. Could you elaborate on it? Because I mean, lyrics are, of course, special.
It's a song about unconditional love. It's and that can apply to a lot of things. That could be a lover or a parent or anything. But it's sort of juxtaposing these, like the bad thoughts that we all have, the misanthropic thoughts that we all have, and trying to snap out of it. Um, yeah, it's a sweet song.
When I first heard it, I was like, "Wow, this is actually a statement in the States, right? To say I prefer your love to Jesus."
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so. If you could, one could also say Jesus's love is so great, but I like yours a little bit more. It's not a, it doesn't have to be disparaging, I suppose, unless you have a very specific mindset.
Well, of course, John Lennon almost got killed for saying, and maybe he did get killed for saying we were bigger than Jesus.
Oh, I don't think, oh, what's his name? Yeah, that was a while after. That guy wanted to be John. That guy's an asshole. Fuck that guy. I forgot his name.
Yeah, let's forget his name anyway. When we were on the Beatles anyway, I was listening to Birth in Reverse, which is a lovely song, I think. What I like about your music and what I like about your writing is there's so many layers and so many fun stuff to listen to. You can listen to your songs again and again and still be surprised by new things. Getting back to the Beatles, it struck me that I thought there's this Beatlesque sound in it. And first I thought, hey, this is the guitar sound of Paperback Writer, but it wasn't. And then I was like, well, why does it remind me of the Beatles? And suddenly it struck me that you mixed one of the guitar parts on the left.
Oh, right. And back in the day when things were mono.
If you listen to a Beatles record right now, you have the guitars on the left and the bass on the right. So that was probably why it reminded me of the Beatles.
Yeah, have you ever been at a restaurant and they're playing the Beatles and you're only hearing like one half of a day in the life, and you're like, I think there's more to it. Yeah, the guitars are pretty hard panned on the left because it's a single guitar part for most of the song, and it's so percussive and sort of like Gang of Four-y that I just wanted to differentiate it from the bass. There's very few tracks going on that song. It's even though there's like a lot of kinetic energy in it, there's very few instruments. It's really just guitar and bass and drums.
Do you write all the music yourself and all the parts?
For the most part, yes. I had a great player named Bobby Sparks come in and play Mini Moog, and with Bobby on the Mini Moog, you just let Bobby be Bobby, So I did not compose his crazy futuristic bass parts. I didn't do that, but the rest of it, I demoed all these songs really extensively before going into the recording studio. And a song like Birth in Reverse, for example, I could play you the demo and you'd go, oh, the record version sounds better and is better, slightly better performed, but this is the exact song, and a song like Regret is the same way with the weird instrumental that kind of comes up behind the chorus. It was all there.
It's a beautiful song as well.
Oh, thank you.
And I tried to figure out how your mind works, and maybe this is a strange question, but you can come up with really difficult patterns. In my musical perspective, when I listen to what you do and the rhythms that you make, is incredible, really.
Well, thank you.
It is a compliment.
I think that's a big compliment. The more that I do music, you would think that it would become less of a mystery, and you go, okay, I've got this formula and this is how I can do it. Music is more of a mystery to me now than it ever has been. In terms of, you start out to make a record and you think that it's going to be one thing, but then everything you're writing just goes, no, like actually we know we're the ones who are going to tell you what to do, and just the music that comes out is the music that comes out. I think I've always approached writing from a very working class perspective, where I just go to work every day. It's you go to work for 10 hours and hope that, or at least at this point I would say trust that you're gonna move that boulder up the mountain a half an inch every day, and that's kind of the process always.
Is it heavy? Because it looks like it, and it sounds like it's really easy for you.
Actually, no. I mean, honestly, it was not. This record, it came out very quickly. It's not as if it wasn't a lot of work, because there's a lot of hours in it, but it was more effortless. I think it was more confident and bold than records I've done in the past.
Another thing you said in the interview was that one of your first records, I think it was Actor, or maybe it was the first one about love. You said it's written in a time when I was still not experienced, and looking back, songs would probably be totally different now with the experience that I have.
Well, I think the first record I put out, "Marry Me," was, yeah. I haven't heard it in years. I don't even own it. I think my mom has a copy like in her basement. I'll find one. I'll find it, but I haven't, it's like I know, it's like you kind of, it's of a certain period, and you don't like open your high school yearbook all that often, and
You're not saying you're ashamed of that record.
No, I'm not ashamed of the record. I think back then I was there was a slightly more romanticized version of how people are. And now what's really, really interesting to me is how people actually are, a little bit more of the naturalism, and the fact that we're this weird confluence of totally conflicting emotions, and you can love someone and hate them at the same time, and all this stuff. And so I think it's just a bit more seasoned and realistic now.
And it reflects in your songs.
Oh, good.
There's one thing that I didn't find actually in the record is hard rock and heavy metal is an ongoing theme in your Twitters.
Yeah,
You hate it? Or
what? No, I love heavy metal. Are you serious?
yeah, of course. I thought you were kidding.
I fucking love it.
What's your favorite band?
Well, Slayer. Slayer's great.
Frost.
I don't know Celtic Frost.
Oh my god.
I know, but I was like, I'm from the suburbs of Texas, and the stuff that we grew up on was like, you know, a little bit more of the pop metal side of things. The Maidens, the Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera. Love Pantera. Fucking love Dimebag Darrell. Love his guitar playing. There's a song on the record called "Bring Me Your Loves" that I probably shouldn't reveal it, but I was listening to a lot of Turkish folk music and Pantera, and there's a riff in there that I was like, that is a little tip of the hat to Cowboys from Hell.
Very cool. Because there's like a couple of tweets. Actually, I wrote them down because I thought they were really amazing. I love your Twitter stuff anyway.
Oh, thanks.
Well, let's see. This quote, I love this quote. No finger banging. A guy with with a Scorpions T-shirt yelled at you in the subway.
No, it was the morning time, or an approximation of the morning, and I was walking to get coffee, and this dude was on his cell phone, and he's pulls up right next to me, and he's dressed like kind of like a rocker dude, with a Scorpions T-shirt and like a leather jacket and sort of fringy hair, maybe feathered. Is that a thing still? Feathered hair, like a little feathered. He's on a cell phone. And he goes, "No finger banging." And I was like, "What in what context are you possibly?"
Maybe finger banging, is that hammer on or what is that?
No, I think that I assumed it was like I thought it was a sexual thing. I thought he was like a porn producer or something. It was like, no finger banging. That's not okay. Just full penetration or something. I don't know.
God.
I don't know. I have no idea, but that's what he said. And I thought, this is the best thing I've ever heard. Yelled into a cell phone at 9 a.m.
No finger banging. Well,
No.
great. Now I got it. This one is also a classic. When I start a metal band, I will definitely call it River of Eyeballs.
Yeah.
You're serious?
Yeah, I would love. Yeah, I think that's the name. I woke up. You know how sometimes you wake up with phrases in your head, and I woke up with the phrase "River of Eyeballs" in my head, and I thought, oh, that's it. That's perfect.
So who would you have in your band?
Well, maybe Vinnie Paul. R.I.P. Dimebag. I would have Kirk Hammett too, just because he seems so sweet. He just seems like a little puppy, like a heavy metal puppy.
I'm sure if Dave Grohl would hear this, he'd call you and he'd make a record with you.
You think so?
Of course, he did a couple of times. He did the Robotron records with all his heroes and made a Motorhead cover.
That's right. Yeah, maybe Lemmy.
I'm sure you guys would be a great combination, actually.
Maybe Lemmy would be in the band too. That'd be pretty sick.
He's awesome.
Yeah, Rob Halford, just two lead singers. It'd be awesome. Dave Grohl would be a great drummer. He's a great drummer. I really love the way he plays.
I'll be looking forward to that band. But first, you have your own amazing record out. Another thing that I found, which was something I loved, you did a small piece on Arcade Fire album on the website that I found fantastic. The things that you did is you took a track from the album, Googled it, and typed in what you found. Mm-hmm. One of the things that you found was sploshing.
Yeah. Sploshing. Sploshing is I'm really fascinated by a lot of the record that I wrote kind of deals with the internet and connectivity and loneliness and how those things are combined in the modern age. But I'm really fascinated by how certain sexual fetishes that you think, I can't believe there's more than one person in the world who is into that. How people find each other, and I always wonder, like, which was first, the chicken or the egg? Did somebody, was somebody, and how does it arise? So sploshing is where someone is really into, like, it was kind of described to me as like, what if you made like a beautiful cake and then decided to, like, take your pants down and sit on the cake, and you would get an erotic charge out of that. And then maybe you decide to fool around in a cake, or in a kind of pudding, kind of wet food like substances. And I thought, wow, I mean, how does that even, where in your subconscious does that start? Were you a kid and you accidentally, like, fell into a cake not wearing a diaper? Like, I don't know. I have no idea how this stuff happens, but
I must admit, when you look at the pictures, it's not really. Well, for me, it's not really arousing actually, and I also love the layout. It's like this layout didn't change since 1986.
yeah, I mean, it's incredible. It's so incredible. Human beings are so weird. I love it.
Check out Saint Vincent's Twitter feed and look for sploshing. Another one that I loved: Nuremberg rock cliches. Hey,
Hey, hey, hi, Heil. It's a slippery slope. Just the rock stuff that feels like, yeah, that feels like a rally. That's the
it's
kind
scary actually that music can bring that about, right?
of. Yes, and music is wonderful, and is not. I'm obviously taking some liberties to conflate, you know, a dumb folk arena rock cliche with, the atrocities that happen. But there is some parallel, and I was just kind of pointing it out.
Mass madness.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking again about your interesting in how the brain works. Only yesterday I heard a small report on BBC Radio about a man who could taste different stations when he was traveling the tube. So he could describe what Tottenham Court Roads taste like.
But what does that mean, that every tube has a different smell? And
No, tastes. It tastes like soup, or it tastes like cake, or it tastes like a combination of cake and sausage and cheese.
is that
Weird,
like
huh?
a synesthesia kind of thing?
What they said is it's a really rare thing in the brain where your brain connects words with taste. So you really taste it, but you read a word and you can taste something.
Wow, it's a shame that that's an English guy,
Well,
right?
maybe even worse if it was an American guy.
Yeah, that would actually might be worse. This tastes like Burger King.
Hey, back to the album. What I said, what I loved about your music and your music in general is um, it's pop music as far as I'm concerned. It's catchy. Everybody can listen to it and love it, but there's so much depth in it, and that makes it really interesting. Is it your goal? Do you set out to make music that is poppy yet there's much more depth to it, or does it just come natural to you?
I think a certain element of it really comes naturally. I love pop music, and I grew up on pop music, and I still love it today. So I've, chosen to work in the pop idiom. Um, and what's kind of always been interesting to me is where popness and a sort of out there sensibility meets, and that's kind of the sweet spot for me. So that's kind of what I've tried to cultivate over the past couple records.
Is it also the music that you like yourself? Because I mean, of course, you like way more than just heavy metal.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, that's what I think That's what my heroes have always done. That's what the Bowies have done, and Byrne. I say the Bowies as if there's more than one, but Bowie and Byrne, and um, even well, now I'm not now no, I'm not thinking of anything. No, nothing came into my mind. But that's kind of where my heroes have lived.
It's so cool that you said it because way back I had a discussion with a friend of mine, and he was listening to the British band XTC.
I love XTC.
And I said to him, why do you like XTC better than you two? And he said, they both make pop music, but if you listen really well to the music of XTC, they take it to another level because there's a different lick or a different tune for every instrument that they use. It's not easy. They think of everything, and that makes it better than the rest.
Well, it's very considered. That's highly considered music and highly crafted. I think the key in all of that is to not lose the um, rough and ready and the visceral and the maniac side of that. And so I've been careful not to exact anything away and to try to use it all as just a way for more maximum expression as opposed to too buttoned up or whatever, which can be a challenge. But I love XTC. That one, we're always making plans for Nigel. That's such a British like. I'm it's just the most British song ever. Sorry, what was your next? Yeah, anyway.
Hey, working with David Byrne must have been something for you, right? I mean, one of your heroes probably. How did it come about?
David and I attended the same charity event in 2009. We saw Bjork and the Dirty Projectors perform a night of original music at Housing Works, which is an AIDS charity in downtown Manhattan. And they approached us and asked us if we would like to do a similar night. So we thought, yeah, sure, we'll write a couple songs and put a small ensemble together and do it and raise some money. Well, that couple songs turned into 5 songs, turned into 12 songs, turned into a record, turned into a year-long tour with a 12-piece band. So it was awesome. All of it was awesome.
Well, that raises the bar for what you're going to do next, probably. Well, of course, you made this fantastic new album.
Well, it does. Yeah, I think it does raise the bar. Performance has always been has always included this idea of artifice, and not artifice in terms of being fake, but artifice that kind of leads you to these big truths. And I got to expand my idea of what that was in the show with David, because it involved choreography, and it involved this really natural synergy between us and this kind of counterbalancing effect. And so I think that's something that I'm definitely going to bring forward into the next live show.
What's the artwork going to be like for the album? Because I have nothing. I have this. Is this the artwork?
It's gonna be a one sheet. No, it will be kind of bananas, a little bonkers, and inspired by some of my favorite surrealist, occult filmmakers.
Who? What? Why can't you talk about it?
Oh, well, I kind of pick different archetype. No, it's done.
Oh, okay.
But I pick different archetypes for every record, or maybe archetypes emerge.
Mm-hmm.
And with the record I did, Strange Mercy, the last St. Vincent solo record, the archetype was sort of this housewife on barbiturates. And so it was all kind of like woozy and dreamy and sleepy and crazy. But this archetype is sort of more near future cult leader.
Oh, way.
Yeah, so the artwork is kind of centered around that in mind, the just near future cult leader.
Two songs that I picked out to be really cool. I love Prince Johnny. I think that's a fantastic song.
Good. Thanks. Yeah, that's a sort of a love letter to this like awesome downtown New York freak artist queer scene that's been around forever.
And I was wondering, who produced this album?
John Congleton, who I worked with on Strange Mercy.
Because I heard that Steve Albini was into your music as well. Did you work with him too?
No, I love Steve Albini, but no, and we sometimes email because I'm going to do a Christmas benefit that he's involved with. But no, I haven't worked with him. Oh, wait. No, I'm long time ago. No, I haven't worked with him, but I love him.
Of course, you pick your own producers, probably, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
People that you would love to work with.
I love Flood. I love what Flood does. Flood did one of my favorite, I think my favorite Polly Harvey record, which is This Desire. Yeah. I think is my favorite record of hers. Even though actually Let England Shake is a wonderful record as well.
It is. It's fun that you actually bring that up, because when I was listening to the album, I thought of that record and I thought of PJ Harvey as well, and then I thought, well, it would be such a cliche to compare your music to hers.
Well, it's right. I think
Bring Me Your Love is of course a song on their album.
Oh, that's To Bring You My Love.
Exactly,
yeah.
And in general, it's easy for people to compare music, any music of any band, to other people that they know. In your case, it will be Lana Del Rey, maybe, or Lord, or PJ Harvey, or
No, I think they're all good. But yeah, I think being, I think Kate Bush was the one that for a long time, no matter what you sounded like, you'd always get compared to Kate Bush, whom I also love. So it's a compliment. But I think if you go back in history and look at the number of artists, predominantly female, who've been compared to Kate Bush and then actually compare their work to Kate Bush, there's a big discrepancy. Kate Bush is fantastic. I'm not sure who's...
Well, I'm not really into comparing music to other stuff. But it can only help if you try to give somebody else an idea of what music sounds like if they don't know what it sounds like. So in that respect, it can be handy to talk about other stuff. But another song that, actually, I thought Bring Me Your Loves is a good song as well. It's a different song than all the others, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty bananas. That's a song that I was listening to Turkish folk music and Pantera. And that's what happens when you put those two things together. Yeah, but that's kind of I think that'll be a real banger live. It's going to be bananas.
But you'll be touring Europe when?
I'm touring Europe before the record comes out as a little bit of a taste test for everybody over here. That I'm touring the second or third weeks of February over here.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward?
Oh yeah. I'm ready to put me in, coach. I'm ready to get back in the game.
One more thing about your Twitters. You were reading a book about psilocybin, I see.
Oh no. Although I have I know a lot about it. I guess personally and also tangentially through my drummer Matt Johnson, who's very into oh my god, who's the dude who gives the talks on psilocybin mushrooms? Terrence McKenna. So I've had a lot of talks with Matt Johnson about Terrence McKenna. Matt Johnson, who is not, I don't think, has ever ingested the drug himself. I've had direct experience with the drug as well, but that's I was just in the British Airways lounge in Berlin, and that was there was Der Spiegel and whatever. And then like that book. And that was the only book in the entire lounge. And I was like, this is pretty awesome. This is really cool and bizarre.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And hope to see you back in Amsterdam soon.
Yeah, in February.